What is up guys, Andy Forrester, Dean Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. So I really enjoyed version 2, and I'm pleased to report that the tweaks that they've made in this version are really good, and for me have made it an even better shoe. We'll be sharing with you guys what all of that is today. I'll be letting you know how I've tested it, giving you a technical overview, and then of course giving you my first impressions. Quick disclaimer, this is a pair of shoes that Puma sent to me for the purpose of review. However, they have no editorial control over this video. They have no idea of my thoughts, and they certainly will not see anything before you guys get to see it here on YouTube. So with that out of the way, we're going to dive in straight away and let you know how I tested it. So in terms of testing daily trainers, I'm trying to get into the habit of getting a couple of runs in rather than just the one before sharing my thoughts with you, and that's exactly what I've done here today. I try and get a zone 1 and a zone 2 run, an easy and a moderate run, and that's exactly what I did. Last Tuesday I had a double. It was 30 minutes easy in the morning and 50 minutes steady moderate in the evening. So I took this thing out in the morning for 30 minutes, nice and relaxed, nice and easy, broke the shoe in kind of straight out of the box, see how it felt, and it was enjoyable, but I thought to myself, it's not as lively as I remember version 2. I'm not too sure about this. Took it out for the evening run, picked up the pace a little bit, and it really did come alive. The zone 2 for me was exactly where this thing shone. So it was an interesting day. I thought it would be the other way around, but it wasn't. It definitely picked up the pace nicely and did really well. So let's now go through a quick technical overview before giving you guys my thoughts. We'll start off by saying I went true to size in this shoe, which is a UK size 13. We're talking about 36mm of stack height in the heel, 26 in the forefoot for a 10mm heel to toe drop. And in my UK size 13, it comes in at 345 grams or 12.2 ounces. And as always, we'll work away from the heel counter, talk about the ankle collar, the tongue, the lace in the upper, the midsole, and then we'll finish with the outsole. So we'll start by saying this is a breathable engineered mesh upper, a wonderful upper I should say, and that starts at the back here with what I would say is like a semi-rigid heel counter. There's a bit of flexion there, but it does spring back nicely. There's a heel cup, as there is in most daily trainers, that goes around the back there if you trace my finger, so that's nice and sturdy, but the plushness of this cushioning around the top here gives you a very comfortable feel when you slip your foot in, and the ankle cut is very nice too, sits under the ankle bone nicely. The tongue at the top is paper thin where it sits on the top of the ankle, and there is a V cut in there just so it splays nicely either side, but when you get about 1 centimetre down, you've got a bit of cushioning there so that when you cinch the laces down, it provides enough cushioning so that not to be too tense over the top of your foot. So again, really nice job there. Lacing system, very straightforward, nothing fancy going on here. Standard eyelet chain with the extra loop there at the top for the runner's knot if you want to, and very nice tacky laces. They cinch down nicely. No issues on either of the runs I've done where they've come loose or lost any tension, so very happy with that as well. Big change in the upper in terms of the medial side here, this power tape section. This is very nice indeed. So the breathable engineered mesh upper that runs all the way around is lovely and comfortable, lovely and cushioned feeling, laminated overlay on the lateral side, but as you get on the inside here, we've got this new section introduced which adds a little bit of stability for any of you guys that overpronate a little bit too much. So this, I do notice this when I run, and I personally appreciate this. You can really feel the shoe trying to not kind of let your ankle roll in too much. It does give a little bit of, what's the word that I'm trying to look for? Rigidity is the wrong word. It is support, but it's also a little bit of tautness in the fabric so that when you are rolling through, so you land, roll through, and as you push off, you feel this section here stopping you from really collapsing in. It's a great addition, to be honest with you, and I really notice it and I really enjoy it. So I just wanted to highlight that for you. In terms of the midsole, we're talking about Puma's Nitro midsole, most of it here. They've added a couple of mil stack from the previous version, which is good. So there's extra stack in there. The weight has gone up 8 grams, but to be honest with you, for the extra stack, I take that all day long. Very comfortable, nice and bouncy. But it is dual layer. There is a bottom layer here of EVA, which is just to add a little bit of stability there. Also, it's going to help with the durability of the shoe. So when you land, it's just going to be a little bit more, the EVA on the bottom is basically firmer than the Nitro at the top. So it just adds a solid platform for you to land on. But because the bulk of the midsole is the Nitro, it still has that lovely, soft and cushioned feel. And then moving on to the outsole, you can see here we have a good covering of Puma grip, which covers all the high wearing areas, most of the shoe, to be honest with you. And we all know what Puma grip's about. It is a very durable rubber, very grippy as well. It's a really, really good outsole. For a daily trainer, it's exactly what you want. This is going to help the shoe last for a very, very long time. And yeah, it's a really, really good grippy outsole. Both my runs were done in wetter conditions, and yeah, it held up really, really well. So that's it for the tech. So let's move on to my first impressions. How did I find the shoe? Well, I've got to say the updates that they've made to this thing are a real bonus. I'm loving this medial addition here of support. I'm going to say it feels like a supportive feature here. And although this is a neutral daily trainer, for me, someone who runs in neutral shoes, but does sometimes have a habit where some shoes, my ankles collapse in too much and then I get tightness in the inside of my legs. This was really, really good. I felt it holding my foot strong and not letting me roll in too much, and I enjoyed that. It just worked well for me, and I felt like I was a lot smoother through the gait cycle because of it, especially in my second run. I'm always going to welcome more foam in the midsole. An extra 2mm is great. And I do wonder if that's why I enjoyed my second run more, because there was a little bit more bounce to the shoe. So the first run, if I could rate it, let's say it was a 7 out of 10. It was a good run, but it was nothing special. The easy run in it, it was nothing special. It was enjoyable, it was comfortable. It was everything I'd expect from this shoe, but it wasn't lively and it didn't make me go, wow, this is amazing. The second run, however, was good. And you know, it took me by surprise, like the Saucony Ride 17, like the Triumph 21, like the On Cloud Stratus 3. Shoes that you feel like should only just be easy trainers, runs for your plods. No, this thing really picked up the pace well. In fact, I ran quite a fast, moderate run in it, faster than I probably should have done. Heart rate was a little bit higher when I got home, but generally that day my heart rate seemed to be high on my easy run as well as the moderate run. But overall, yeah, it picked up the pace well. I felt the bounce from the midsole. It was really good. The only time that I struggle with shoes like this is I do always enjoy a shoe with some kind of rocker geometry in it that also helps you through the gait cycle. I do always appreciate that, and sometimes when you get into a shoe without that, you can notice a difference. It can sometimes feel a bit slappy and very flat-footed, but that's when I notice it more in the easy run, and that's why I feel like the easy run wasn't quite as exciting, because I was kind of like not rolling through as smoothly. But the second I picked up the pace in this thing, it responded, and it responded really well. So I feel like I've got another Ride 17 on my hands here, a shoe that's slightly heavier for the moderate runs than some of the moderate shoes that I would use, but it's on the lighter end of the spectrum for my easy days. But when it comes to that moderate pace, it just handles it really, really well. So yeah, it was really enjoyable. I mean, I love the Puma Nitro foam. It's one of my favorite foams, lovely and bouncy, and I enjoy what they do with the EVA at the bottom. It does just add a bit of stability. It does add a bit of support, and it's not quite as unstable on the foot. You don't feel, with some softer foams, when you land, your ankle's a little bit wobbly, your foot's a bit all over the place. This does give you that stability and structure that you need when you land. So yeah, overall, a really positive update to a shoe that I had already enjoyed. I already put over 100 miles in my second pair. And then I relegated those to my walking shoes, and I walked in them for about 6 months, extremely comfortable. And yeah, I fully envisage getting over 100 miles in these as well, and I can't wait to give you an update on them then. I can imagine getting a sprinkling of both Zone 1 and Zone 2 stuff in this thing over the coming weeks and months. So there we go, those are my thoughts on the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. A surprise package for me in terms of being able to pick up the pace. Didn't think it was going to handle it so well. I don't remember my version 2 being as good at that area, but this one certainly is. So it's definitely going to get a lot of use, and I'd love to hear from you guys if you're going to be picking up this version of the shoe. Do you like the sound of the new features, especially this section here? Will that work for you, or do you think that will hinder you? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you down there. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.